Since my awakening, my mission has always been to empower the powerful leaders of the New World with metaphysical foundations to really align you to your highest potential, to make sense of a little bit of the woo-woo, to help you understand the astrology, to navigate the current energies, and to kind of have a little bit of foresight as to what's coming. 2025, it packs a wallop, and I'm going to do a whole video on the astrology of 2025. I have my All Signs reading available. The link is in the description. I have my workbook for 2025. We're going to go over some of that, as well as my channeled messages. That's all available for you now. My intention for this video is to talk about leadership. I have two stories that I want to share with you. I had a client session the other day where this really powerful young gal, she's moving her life, she's following a call within herself. Her, life is seemingly breaking open so that she can walk a path. It was funny, I saw her hours before I made my decision to move, and she really helped my soul find solace and comfort in the fact that people within my immediate vicinity are moving. It gave my soul a little bit of a, okay, you're not alone in this. And so in our session, when I said to her, you're a leader, she immediately cut me off and she's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And we talked about it. And I said, are you following a call inside of yourself that you don't understand fully? Yes. I don't know where I'm going or why I'm doing it, but I'm listening to this call. I have to leave everything behind to go this way, to go first. I'm the only person in my life that's doing these things so courageously. And people are, judging me, and they're like, why are you doing this stuff? Or they're looking at me like, that's awe, actually, my dear. That's awe. People are in awe of you. Courage is a very important value that we must all invoke. You could be shaken and pee in your pants, but you got to say the words or walk earnestly towards what it is that's calling you and not focus on what's behind you. We'll talk about that in a minute. Creative expression has always been a very important component, literally one of the three, the triangle that is Sarah, where it's metaphysical foundations, leadership, personal growth and development, and creative expression. It's it makes the TP that is my business, that is my mission. It's the most integral part of everything that you do on this planet is creative expression. And I had a subscriber comment on one of my videos recently where she said, I know that I'm a performer. I know that I'm supposed to be a performer, a singer, whatever it may be. She said, but I always think of a performer as a jester, and it makes me kind of sad face. When we think of the jester, we think of the court jester, because that's the name of my corporate program. It's the corporate court jester program. That's me coming in and helping you within your community, within your team. Please email if you're interested in that. We can have a consultation about that. I said, the court jester was the only one that could say certain things to the king and the queen without getting, the only one. And when we think of performers and creatives on this world, they get a free pass. You get a free pass to show up as your true, most authentic self, to wear what you want, to be what you want, to create what you want, to channel in that divinity. Yeah. Some of the most powerful leaders on this planet and going into the new world will be creatives, will be ones that integrate creativity into their practice, or standing on stage, whatever that may be. And I find that a lot of my creatives right now have been going through it in 2024. So if you have been in it, if you feel as though everything has been stripped from you, down to the bone, down past the ego, past your skin, literally to the soul, and you still want to sing a tune, if you still want to paint a picture, you still want to inspire others to do something, you're a leader. So let's get into it. Please go grab your journal if you'd like. Go grab a coffee or tea. I have some watered down espresso, some warm water. I have 2 selenites on the table, so we'll use the selenite for the pause. Go grab your things. Pause the video, go grab your things, come right back. It's interesting. I realize I haven't done a style video like this in a while, and it's so heavy in the astrology right now in December 2024. And I talk about that in the workbook. And we're going to, how do I say? I'm just going to get into it. Because I love every single one of you. Let's start with like what might be coming up right now. How do I tell that I'm a leader? How can I tell that I'm a leader, Sarah? Your life might literally be falling apart. Or what you thought you were supposed to be building is now a sandcastle. You might be leaving a relationship that you thought was the perfect relationship. You might be realizing that friendship groups are really not aligned. That 3D job you really can't even think about doing anymore. That's me. I'm literally leaving my 3D job and going full hog into anything that I'm doing on YouTube, on my Gumroad, on anything. So I just want to advocate for myself right now. Every single donation that I receive during this time period is going to help me move. 100% of those donations. So if you are able to, and you've taken anything from what it is that I've offered, purchase a product, leave a review, anything at all, donations, the links are in the description. I am just eternally and just humbly grateful for every single one of you. I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm in midair right now, and I just wanted to advocate for myself for that. So I'm right there with you. If you feel as though everything that you built was just a sandcastle, you've learned something from that. You've learned something from that, whether it's I can be a 3D person in a 3D world, full body chill. I can pretend a little bit more that I'm just like you, and I can talk about, gossip at the grocery store, and I can talk about the weather, and I can pretend to be human. You might be incredibly exhausted right now, to the point, and I've mentioned this before, that the mark of a true leader is absolute unexplained exhaustion. You might be just seeing something or experiencing something, and then your body just needs like days of rest. You might just be able to do a few hours of work, and then that's it. You might be studying, and then that's it. And that's it. Especially my projectors in human design, especially my projectors. Another mark of a true leader right now is that when something happens outside of you, and we've been talking about this for well over a year now, when you see something outside of you, you take a moment and you say, I'm not going to respond to that. I'm going to go look in the mirror. And I'm going to ask myself, what is this? I'm getting triggered right now. What is this bringing up for me? What is this showcasing for me? How is this helping me? You processed so deeply where you're like, oh my goodness, this person is enraging me. That person doesn't exist. I'm going to look inside myself and see what needs to be healed. What aspect of myself needs to be polished so that I can release that trigger and move along with quiet contemplation and sovereignty. That's another huge thing. Whereas I didn't look at, oh my God, this person, did this, or this is happening on the other side of the planet. I said, okay, that is very difficult for me to see. I'm hurting and wish for everyone on the planet to have what they need. What can I do within my current life? How can I help my current community? What is actual, tangible something that I can do to help? How can I make it better? That's something that I used to do when I worked in my restaurant job. Oh my God, as I record this, I only have 2 shifts left in the restaurant industry. Yeah. I'm ready for a nervous system like overload in January. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to talk about that. There's so much more to say, but again, this right now is like I'm going full hog in this. So if I've supported you in any capacity, if you'd like to give back, links below for donations. So thank you. What did I say? How can I help? What can I do? So that was something that I used to do in the restaurant where, especially in the past 6 to 12 months, I would have someone coming in, and there was a customer that came in once that was his family had traveled in from all over the country. And he had his phone open on the table to like the news. And he was just so upset and miserable and was just like, yeah, I can't believe that this is all going on. And like his new grandson was there. Like when you turned that off, if you turned the phone over, it's like your life is incredibly blessed. Like incredibly blessed. Like there's beautiful people that are trying to talk to you and trying to engage with you and love you and laugh with you. But you have this open on purpose. Like that's a choice. That's an active choice to have this open on the table. And so this is the question that I would ask people in similar scenarios as well as this one. Well, what would you do to change it? What would you do to help? What would you do to help everyone? Not just one side. It was a very political time. It was like not just one side, but for everyone, you know, all the humans within your, you know, country of choice or country of origin, not choice, but country of origin. I guess choice now, but a country of origin. What would you do to make it better for everyone? And normally, 9 times out of 10, the person would kind of just like have literally disregard what I was saying and just continue to complain, or they would stop speaking to me and just kind of like talk to the person next to them, find someone to complain with. And so that's okie dokie. I would rather be with you here at the cafe. I would rather be here with you talking about how we can develop leadership tools than complain about anything that's crumbling. That's like complaining to the tide coming in. I built this sandcastle. I can't believe that you're coming in. Why are you coming? You're coming in this way. You're coming in quick. You're coming in this way. It's like, yeah, actually you built a sandcastle. So one of the tools, you know, about leadership that I would recommend going into 2025 is having new mantras, having 2 new mantras. And the one that I really love and I want you to kind of have like a baseline of is everything is working out in my favor. So you lose something, you're moving, you know, your spouse leaves you, a car breaks down, like the handle of the car breaks off, whatever it may be. This is really working out in my favor. Thank you. I'm so excited about this. Something better is coming along. This is upgrading me. I'm actively being upgraded right now. I'm actively being supported by God. And that's something that I can say without question is that every single thing that in my life since I made the decision to move, every single thing, whatever my ego labels it as this is good, this is bad, this is this, everything has been so divine and very clear. This is the path for you to take. This is a yes. This is a no. I feel like I'm literally being held. And so, but my ego could say, oh my God, this is you're wrong. And that's, my brain is braining. It's a healthy brain. I'm very, very excited and very grateful to have a healthy functioning brain. But leaving that there and having a mantra of everything's working out in my favor. I am supported right now. I am being divinely guided. Something like that. And the word that we've been using for a while, I'm personally shifting. So, but you don't always, I just want you to like, however this resonates with you, I want you to have a neutral word. You know, it used to be for me, interesting. That is very interesting. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, that's interesting. Interesting. It's like being on safari. Be like, that's really interesting. The word that I love right now is curious. I just enjoy it. I'm like, that is so curious. That is so curious. It just gives a little bit more of the whimsical side of things where I'm like, wow, you're just like running this human body in a 3-dimensional matrix that you create with your thoughts, words, actions, and intentions. And that's coming up for you to heal and navigate. That is so curious. I did a whole video on it, but it was for 2024, but it takes a very specific certain level of disassociation to kind of function in 2024. Going into 2025, we're not going to be able to process for so long anymore, and I'm going to get into that next. Okay. Life is falling apart. We are healing deeply. What can I do? How can I help? Leader, looking in the mirror, gesture, exhaustion. Yes, give it a mantra. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so in 2025, we have, and I'm going to do a whole video on just the astrology that will be free. But like I said, I have a workbook on 2025. I have all signs reading for 2025, hours and hours and hours of information for you. The links are below. Things are going to be shifting and changing so quickly. Not to the point of anxiety producing, but we're going to kind of see, where am I getting addicted to processing and checking out, and where can I actually label the trigger, know where this is coming from, give it the love that it needs, and then say, okay, what did I say? How can we get past this? Quick processing towards I can't even read my writing. Quick processing, forward thinking. So I really want you to make as many decisions as possible as if you were at a fork in the road. And when they come up, just say, say this is a friendship, a relationship, a job. I actually want you personally, you don't have to do this with the person, but like personally pull back and just ask yourself, do I want to stay in this job or do I want to leave this job? Do I want this person to stay in my life or do I want this person to leave my life? Is this a family member and I, am working things out with them and I really need to do this? Or is it time to kind of take a step back and just be with myself right now? I actually want you to take that moment at the very beginning, personally, not with them, and say, okay, this is worth fighting for. This is worth putting my time and my effort into. I want to keep this job. I want to keep this mission. I'm keeping this client, this whatever it may be, or I don't. And then from that juncture, make all of your decisions from there. All of the communication. I'm putting effort into this person. I want to speak from I statements and be authentic with this person, because your authenticity, and we've been learning this with the South Node in Libra, so you can't lie anymore. You can't lie to yourself. The people around you can smell it. You can't in any way lie to God, lie to source, lie to spirit. Every person on this planet is awakening to truth. The veil is being lifted. People are very confused. Lots of things are happening in a way, like everything from the inside out. I'm listening to my guides. Yes, it's from the inside out. So if, you've decided inside, I want to stay in this relationship, make decisions from there. If you've decided, I don't want to be in this relationship, but then you're kind of like being mischievous with the person and you're like, no, but I'm going to stay with them until this point because, I want to get like my this and I want to do this and like I need them until this party and this. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Leading from authenticity and from I statements and honesty is literally the only way. It is literally the only way. And with that being said, when you speak your truth, if you've decided, okay, this person is 6 out of 10 for me, I don't want them in my life anymore. I think we're done. We've learned what we can from each other. We've given and received, and I honor that. Leading from that place of sovereignty, know that you are a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 for them. Know that there's an equal and opposite reaction to that. And when you lead with love to say, I want you to have a 10 out of 10 partner, 10 out of 10 friend, 10 out of 10 employee, whatever it may be, that is the most authentic path. That's the only path. We have to remember, though, with that cognition, with that understanding, we can't always expect ourselves and other people. I'm trying to paint this picture the right way. It's like, okay, so I'm leading with authenticity, I'm leading with love, and I want that for the person in front of me. They might not have this language, they might not understand what's going on, so that like feeling of loss, that feeling of aggression, and that feeling of whatever it may be is going to bubble up to the surface. That might, okay, this is what the guys are saying, that might give you the instantaneous validation that like you made the right decision based on the response, the reaction from that other person, and so you can just like sit with the knowing that you made the right decision. I cannot discredit that it might be uncomfortable. It might be painful. It might be embarrassing. There might be moments of gossip happening around you. There's a bunch of signs that are either receiving or are surrounded by gossip right now. And it's not a good color on any of us. And that might be how you're setting boundaries, how I know that I'm not supposed to be in this circle. Yeah, talking about ideas, talking about how we can change things. That's what I want for you. Those are the people that I want you surrounded with. And how do I say? There have been many times that, I do the top 5 people in my life a lot. And there have been many times that God or podcasters, YouTubers have been on my top 5 list. So that's okay. I would rather you have just a few people at the table. So for you to polish the cutlery and to get used to, I really want this type of person at the table. I really want to attract people that have this language, that have this growth mindset, that are doing something different, that are, want to be of service. For myself, and really go back to your values. We talk about this a lot in the workbook, and it's really ways, and we've talked about this for years. Top 5 values and the top 5 people in your life. These 2 lists will be, I want you reading them every single morning of your life. I want them on the vision board. I want you to know who's in my corner, who I've chosen to be on my team, and where's my compass? Why do I make my decisions? Why do I make my decisions? Why am I doing what it is that I'm doing? There's a component to being of service that is one of my top 5 values. And it's what attracts clients to me. It's what attracts people to me in my life. Family members are very similar, whereas it doesn't matter. I've literally been, when I first started my YouTube, when I first started all of this, my life was crashing and burning. There was a point that I was borderline homeless. I was living in someone's basement. I had $2.02 in my bank account. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was making videos about leadership. Because I said, if what I'm experiencing in real time can help someone else, if these fundamental metaphysical practices can help one person, I understood the astrology was matching what I was going through. And I was like, that offers me validation. That offers me solace. To know that, okay, the astrology is saying that my life is exploding right now and I'm having my full spiritual awakening. I had that Saturn-Pluto conjunction directly on top of my natal moon. I was like, oh, okay, so you're going to be talking to aliens and you're going to be channeling and you're going to have your awakening. It gave me this understanding of the map. It gave me an understanding as to how I can navigate this. So it's so helpful. It's part of the reason I've tried to record this a few times, so I don't know if I've talked about this, but my self-mastery course, I am in the middle of rebranding right now, and I'm going to be offering it in a different way. I just wanted to plant that seed right now because I want it to really be as available for as many people as possible this coming year. It's I don't care where you are in your life. If you're here with me, you're a leader. So it's going to be shifting the name from self-mastery to awakened mastery, a leader's crash course in spiritual practices. These are very efficient ways to integrate, to understand what's going on, and to integrate baseline things into your life. I talk about at the end, and I talk about this a lot here, when it comes to anything on this planet, this is a cafeteria line. So take what resonates and do not take what does not resonate. There's a lot of different mentalities that you could see right now. Whether you've seen people that were very, very spiritual are going to the book, or people that were at the book are going super duper spiritual, or people that were very, very, sensual, sexual have gone to the book and they're gone celibate and sober, or kind of the other way around. People are, dabbling in polyamory, or they're coming out of polyamory. You can see that pendulum swinging right now. People that were super, super liberal or went super, super conservative, and vice versa. And everyone's, like that, oh my God, it was a soundbite that I saw a while ago. There was switching sides. And I see that, and it's very curious to me because you can keep certain things and still be this. I can still read the book and have my tarot cards. I could be very spiritual and, speak to galactic beings and still just vibe with Yeshua on a regular basis. It's very possible to kind of break the mold and to do things in ways that resonate with you. but understanding that what resonates with me is not going to be what resonates with you. So the Awakened Mastery is really offering all of these tools on a platter for you. And you just take what resonates and you just don't take the rest. That's it. So that is in the middle of rebranding. I'm going to be talking about it more, but I wanted to really say, like, this might feel for a lot of you like a crash course. The original, what was it? The OG course that I made was called the Awakener's Crash Course and Quest. And it was just like straight hours of me just like spitting. And it was just like so much fun to create. And now this is really broken down into 6 chapters where it's like, I'm not going to overwhelm you. The first chapter right now is available for free. It's called Flounder and Efficient Ego Death, where we know that we can't, speed things up with God. But the more we take trust wells, and this is something that's really coming up, and I'm really circling back to the word courage that we talked about a while ago. When you work on your mindset and you start to shift your mindsets from, competition to creation, to this is me and God co-creating instead of I'm, weaseling my way into certain areas. A lot of what you might have built, you're like, this is about to fall down. This is about to fall apart. I'm about to lose a lot of things. And then you've got, like the universe, God, source, just sitting up there and be like, what you gonna do? You trust me that it's better on the other side? You trust me, that authenticity? You keep telling me that you want an authentic, bougie, cozy life. You keep saying that, but you're gonna let me hold you? You're gonna let me carry you? You're gonna trust that what I'm painting for you is so much bigger than what you think that it could possibly be? Yeah, an old friend years ago. This was, I was moving home from Australia and I was just in a very similar, this is what I'm experiencing right now is one of like the top 5 massive shifts that I've ever gone through in my life. And what she said to me in that moment is, when you jump, the net appears. And so I'm in midair, girl. And I see you. Okay, give it a mantra. Let's continue. Everything's working on my favor. Interesting. Authenticity is key. The ego versus the soul. Trusting your gut no matter. And the memberberries are addictive. Okay, so to be able to really differentiate between, is this my ego talking or is this my soul's calling? That is going to be very, very important. We have the North Node shifting into Pisces in January 2025. The True Node goes in on the 11th, and the Mean Node, which is what I follow, is on the 29th, on the day of the new moon. Whichever one you follow, doesn't really matter. That's the house of soul purpose, healing, closures, and coming home. Which means that the South Node, what we're releasing, is in our house of daily life and practical service, the Virgo run house. So your daily life might have to shift completely for you to live your soul's purpose. Trust that. Trust that. Trust that. There's something popping into my head right now, which is, what will they think? I've seen, and I've mentioned this before, and like an old friend many, many lifetimes ago, she ran headfirst into this relationship. And I saw this in one of my tarot books as well. Very similar theme where, she ran headfirst into this relationship. He was buying her things left and right. They moved in together very, very quickly. And maybe a few weeks in, like the abuse, the verbal abuse, the possibly physical abuse started to come out. And myself and a few other people had just said, like, girl, you have to get out of this. No joke. She was like, no, but I've already said on Instagram that we're each other's loves of our lives, so I can't. I've already put it out there. I've already told my community that we're loves of our lives, so I can't do that. And as one of my favorite reference books, there's a Rachel Pollack book where she spoke of that. I totally forget, it was like a reverse card. It could be the reverse lovers or reverse like decision making. I don't remember. But she said, I did a reading for someone once who was about to get married, and she realized that she didn't love him. And she continued to go she legally bound herself to this man, and then eventually they separated and things like that. But like, because of the worry of what other people are going to think, they stayed. Your authenticity is all you have. That's it. And when we recognize that my truth, A, doesn't have to match with your truth, and B, has nothing to do with your truth. Speaking from I statements and saying, I love coffee. I love coffee. I love coffee. I have 1 coffee a day, 2 coffees a day, and I just love coffee. And someone could say, oh, I really love juice. I really love juice. I love water. I love, like mushroom tea. I love those things. Awesome. Versus, I love coffee. Do you know how bad coffee is for you? Do you know how bad this is for you? I'm going to send you videos on how bad this is for you. That's great. That's your reality. And that's so fine. If coffee is meant to leave my life, it will be a moment where I decide from an I statement that it's meant to leave my life. But that's how you can tell if something is in alignment or out of alignment. Show of hands. I have many friends that are, very, very liberal, many friends that are very, very conservative. I think it's a whole soap opera. I have my favorite players. I have my favorite characters in the soap opera. I think it's amazing. Or there are people that will literally cut you out of their lives if you believe something that goes away from them. Totally different mindsets. This is my reality. You're welcome to sit at my table if you share similar values as me, not belief systems, but values. Or this is my reality and everyone around me needs to entertain my reality to be around me. You have to say certain things, you have to believe certain things, you have to entertain what I believe. This is mental, This is mental stuff. Okay. What do you mean by memberberries are addictive? That's also going to be a little bit of a way that, and I do this as well. Sometimes my inner child and my inner teenager, they just need to have a little bit of a day, and I will watch, some old movies, and, I'll eat some nostalgic food, and I'll, do some things. I can always tell so I want you to, this is a practice that I do, because for me, it's pizza. I will crave a pizza. I will crave pizza, and I'm like, okay, stop. Sarah, is your flow coming? Are you just in that space? Do you really just want a pizza from Papa Gino's in 1993 in Bedford, Mass. that has that nostalgic feeling? You can't have that anymore. We're not in 1993. Is that your inner child? Is that your inner teenager? Is that your flow? Is that your whatever it may be? So I take a moment to really sit back and say, who's talking? Who needs this? Who in my brain needs this? And then from that understanding where I say, okay, my inner child, she needs a day. I'm going to put on The Sound of Music. I'm going to, make a gluten-free Uglies pizza, and I'm going to love every little bit about it. It's going to be as organic or as non-GMO as possible. I know my body really doesn't take to, like soft cheese. So I'm going to do Parmesan cheese, maybe make some meatballs to go with it, and it's going to be delightful and delicious. It's going to be delicious. Or sometimes my inner teenager, and she's pissed. She don't need a pizza. She needs the deadlift to failure. She needs to be tuckered out. She needs to be spoken to. She needs to be tended to. So tell the difference between what is really happening, what you really need, because nostalgia, I say memberberries, it was I haven't seen the show South Park in a very long time, but there was this episode a while ago about the memberberries, and you ate the memberberries, and they were just these really cute things, and you think about nostalgic things, and and that can be very addictive. It can also create a scenario where, what is it about your current reality that you are terrified to look at? Terrified to look at. It has a psychological connection to hoarding. It has a psychological connection to, like being in this nostalgic area, this nostalgic world where the outside world could be perceived as terrifying. Because in this time period, going from end of year 2024 to beginning of year 2025, you have to take radical personal responsibility for your life. You have to be sovereign at all times. I could be sitting next to someone at a restaurant, at a cafe. They could be living in a completely different world, a completely different paradigm than me. So to be able to navigate this takes radical personal responsibility, radical courage. But when we do the little things, say, okay, I am prepared for anything. I am out in the world in certain uncertainty. I can anticipate that something cuckoo pants is going to happen out there. Then, okay, I know what to do. I know to say, I'm going to take a moment between action and reaction. I'm just going to, not respond to this right now. I'm just going to go talk to myself in the mirror with my family, my VIPs, really decide what's best for me here. And then I'll respond to that. I'll respond to that. Yeah. You're allowed to do that. You know that, right? That you don't have to fully answer everything by end of day. You could say, hey, I got your email. I'm just going to take the night and to really, decide what's best. I just wanted to honor that I received your email, and then I'll get back to you first thing tomorrow. And just take a moment. Okay. I think trust your gut, ego versus soul. Authenticity is key. Interesting to curious. Memberberries are addictive. Okay, Sarah. Okay, you've given me all these things. I know that I'm a leader. I know that I'm navigating a world of certain uncertainty. I know that there's going to be some confusing aspects going into next year. I know that this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I talked about self-mastery evolving. 2 things that I want to really highlight. Actually, 3 things. Having 1 day a week where you do not do anything out there. You spend time with your family, your home, your team, no team, your VIPs, your family, your very important people, and that's it. You're as close to do not disturb as you can possibly be. 1 day a week, and I want you to appreciate creativity that day. I talk about it, it can be 2 days if you have that luxury. For me, I literally wake up. The second I was waking up, I was putting on the sparkles. I was like, you gotta record today. Today's the day. You gotta record. And so as leaders, we know we have things to do. We know we're creating the new world. We know we're pioneers, yada, yada, yada. 1 day a week that you don't do anything, that you plot, that you watch beautiful movies, you go to an art gallery, you drink bougie coffee, you go for a run. Creative expression can be your physical body. One of my favorite things to do on my days off is go to the gym. Yeah, I've been super exhausted, so I haven't been going as often as I used to, and I'm getting back to that in my move. I've already talked to the new gym that I'm going to, so it's I get it, and you go through waves, we go through seasons, so I understand, but it's better for my mental health and my physical health. It really amalgamizes everything. So creative expression, 1 day a week. Baseline astrology. It's a component to the mastery course, the Awakened Mastery, that was originally self-mastery. It is a full chapter. I need you to understand baseline astrology. There are so many confusing components that are coming to be. Whether Neptune going into Aries alone, it's dipping its toe into Aries and then going back into Pisces. That alone is going to be some of the most confusing energy. This is a slow mover. Yeah, a slow mover. So understanding that, there's beautiful blessings that come from AI. There's beautiful things that come from that. But what is truth? What is reality? What is my reality? Understanding that this is the why. This gives a validation for, okay, I'm going into a time that's going to be wildly confusing, especially my early degree Aries placements. If you have your sun, moon, and rising at early degree Aries, for the love of God, it's going to be some of the most confusing few years that you've ever experienced. It's going to be great for creative expression, but basing things on rationality alone is not going to be our strong suit. Yeah, my sun's at 2 degrees Aries, so I get it. I'm going into a very creative time. I love that for everyone. The last thing that I want you to, I I don't normally swear in my videos anymore, and this one is gentle, so I apologize. I want you to suck at something. I want you to have a new skill set, something that, or this could be something that you've put on the back burner, and I want you doing it every day. I want you going into something with the excitement and creativity of a child. For me, I have not been singing as much as I really should be and as much as I enjoy. And where I'm moving, there is a piano and I have my guitar. I don't know how to play the guitar, and I haven't played the piano in a very long time. So I am going to be practicing and singing or playing the piano or strumming a guitar at least once a day. At least once a day. Really putting more of my effort into my Italian. I've been talking about this for years, and the accent is beautiful, but for the love of God, I don't know what I'm saying all the time. And so to be able to shut off, and I was chatting with a neighbor the other day. We had tea the other day. And so I'm going to leave you with this, where she was like, I would wake up and I would, put on the news as I'm having my tea, and I liked to be informed, and I liked to really be able to navigate. It's kind of like for a lot of I'd say from boomers to Gen Xers, there was just a beautiful time where you could just put on the news and just read the paper, and you had a few things to say, and you knew what your friend was reading. And so there's a little bit of nostalgia and a death that they're experiencing where they're like, I can't trust anybody and I don't know what's going on. So she said, Sarah, what I'm going to be doing every day is painting during this time. The time that I used to, be doom scrolling, I'm going to paint, and I'm going to have, by the end of the year, I'm going to have 52 paintings. So I would love to challenge you to join us. Yeah. The time that I would spend on, and my addiction to podcasts and development is unmatched. It's unmatched. Because when like I said at the beginning, when I was in some of my darkest moments, I would be developing, I'd be creating, and during a time where I was in full fight or flight, I would be podcast after podcast after podcast. And now that I'm teaching my nervous system that we're not in fight or flight anymore, I'm going to feel my feelings and I'm going to feel safe within them. I'm going to bring music back into my life and really open the chakras and let them flow. Sometimes I'm bawling my eyes out as I'm singing. There's a lot that needs to come through and a lot that needs to come out. And I'm really excited to feel those feelings that I had bottled up. I'm really excited to do that. So I welcome you as leaders to, if you'd like to share below, if you'd like to send me an email, my email address is always listed in the description. How are you going to take time that you maybe got super addicted to something or were overly focused on something, and you're going to take a little bit of time every day and you're going to put it towards something creative, or you're going to stinkeroo at something. I said it once, I'm done. Yeah, what does that look like for you? Because as leaders, we must have a moment. And that's what my private sessions are for. So if you are interested, please reach out for a consultation. Whereas I work with powerful leaders. And that is a moment where they get to take their armor off and put it down and feel their feelings and express their confusion and their frustration and really receive from someone. However ostentatious I may seem, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly how to bring you into alignment, so don't even come at me. What I recommend with this practice, stinkerooing at something, is because you're telling the universe, you're telling God, I'm open to new. I'm open to developing more. I don't have to have this all figured out. Yeah. I can lean on other people. I can receive. I can learn from someone. I can take a course. Something new that brings out that childlike excitement of, I made this. Look at that. It does more for your development, and it is just as imperative as doing. But just like when we flow with the cycles of the moon, we complete cycles and we move along. We complete cycles and we move along. And we kind of prevent that burnout in bigger ways where we're not like going and going and going and going and going. When you have a moment, you know, the end of the day where you're like, you know what, I'm just going to read in this language that I haven't spoken in a really long time, or I'm going to learn how to, you know, like, language is a really beautiful one. Or I'm going to learn how to draw or paint or do something. This could even be knitting. This could be something so passive. But I challenge you to integrate one thing that you don't know how to do into your life. 4, 4, 4, 4. I think that's it. What questions do you have for me? What's the day today? It's the 19th. Maybe by the solstice, I'm not sure, but in the next little bit, I'm going to really be rebranding, repricing, and relaunching the Awakened Mastery course, so that will be available for you. I'll have a whole video on introducing 2025. It's called Dipping Our Toes in the New World. Like I said, I already have a workbook available for purchase. I have an all signs reading available for purchase, as well as the channeled messages for 2025 is available. You can buy that just by itself. If you buy the workbook, it's in there for free. And if you buy the All Signs reading, it's in there for free. There's also a big package where you get all 3 of them for a discounted price. All the links are below my digital marketplace. I'll put them as individual ones as well. And stay tuned for Awakened Mastery. Please share with the group. Please like, subscribe. Please share this with someone that you think could really benefit from this, that maybe has been going through it in 2024. It's all on purpose. It really is all on purpose. Yeah. But when you jump, the net appears. Ciao.